Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and in this video we're going to be taking a quick peek at the patch 6.18 patch notes. Now, it's just a minor patch, but it does have some pretty major things being thrown into it. There's a new Japanese data center, a few new European servers, and of course data center travel, the ability to travel to other data centers within your own region. North America, play with anyone in North America, you just got to travel to the right data center first. On top of that, there's some adjustments to PvP. And finally, the current tier of Savage has been completely unlocked, meaning you can obtain as many weekly rewards as you want, or I should say there are no weekly reward restrictions anymore for the current tier. You can do the fights in any order at any point. Don't have to worry about a thing. Grind Savage to your heart's content. Without further ado, though, let's scroll down because, like I said, these patch notes are going to be pretty quick. Here is the weekly restriction on Savage being unlocked. Now, first and foremost, the weekly restriction on the blades from the 4th Circle normal mode has also been completely removed. So if you prefer to get something like that, go right ahead. Now, after that, the following adjustments have been made to Pandemonium Savage. 2 treasure coffers will always appear. The weekly restriction has been removed. The weekly entrance restrictions have been removed, and players may proceed to any circle at any time. Basically, you don't have to do them in order anymore. Just nothing matters. Just do them for whatever rewards you want, and you'll be good to go. Cap your tomes for all I care. On top of that, the Radiant Robrant, which allows you to purchase a Tombstone weapon, can now be obtained with Aglaia coins from the 24-man series. So if you want to get some of those weapons, that is an option for you as well. Now for PvP adjustments, we just have a few things, honestly a little less than I thought they would do, but they did say that with Black Mage, they thought they were a little hasty when it came to some changes, and quite frankly, despite a few things I think they could do in addition to what's here, PvP balance is pretty okay going into Season 2. There's definitely going to be a few jobs that still stand out as easy jobs to climb on, but I think that the overall health of those different jobs is a lot better than it was a few months ago. Now, Paladin, being nerfed a little bit, Holy Sheltron is having Knight's Resolve reduced from 20% to 15%. Paladins can be very, very durable, and they have been incredibly powerful as the season has gone on. So, not too surprised to see them getting a little bit of a hit, but I'm sure whatever they're doing, they're more so saving for point 2, if they're doing anything else. Now, this was kind of a surprise. So, Warrior was a really popular job to climb on, and it's actually getting a couple of buffs here. The minimum damage on Onslaught and Orogeny are being brought up ever so slightly, but so is the maximum damage. So if you're somebody who can hit those numbers, you're going to be doing just that little bit more burst, especially with Orogeny. That's going to be very, very noticeable. Now, Dark Knight is also getting a little bit of some quality of life, and I think this is going to help Dark Knights quite a bit, especially in solo queue. Now, the base potency on Blood Spiller is being increased from 4,000 to 6,000, and for the maximum potency, they're raising the HP bar that you need to be below. So you used to have to be below 20% to get the max damage. Now you need to be below 25%. If my math isn't wrong, I think that means you can get 1 heal during your ultimate and still hit the max damage on Blood Spiller, as opposed to, you know, not, I suppose. And Eventide always does, at minimum, 10,000 potency, so their ultimate also got a huge quality of life. If you want to use it at full HP for some reason, it's still going to be doing a lot of damage. It's a full HP? No, I think Eventide is backwards. It's been a while since I looked at Dark Knight. I think it's when you have less HP, it does less damage. Yeah, so it's just always doing 10,000 regardless of when you activate it, even if you activate it as a panic button. Now, Gunbreaker, they're really sticking to the design choice here, and Gunbreaker has been performing a little bit better as time has gone on. Just from the sheer buffs they've been getting, it's just been more and more pressure on them. And that's honestly the biggest thing that they offer, because they don't really do some of the other things that the other tanks do, but they are just so incredibly powerful. It's a blue DPS more so than even Warrior at times. So Burst Strike's potency being bumped by another 1,000, and Hyper Velocity's potency also being buffed by another 1,000. They're also buffing all of the potencies of the different junctions: the shield from the tank one, the cure of the healer, and the outright damage of the DPS junction. If you were doing well on Gunbreaker before, you're going to be doing well on Gunbreaker now. Just a little bit better, but you'll be doing fine. Ninja is actually getting a change to Satan Tenchu. Duration of the unsealed Satan Tenchu effect has been reduced from 10 to 8 seconds. Minor nerf. This isn't something that I feel most ninjas will have. It won't have too much of an impact on them, especially with the win conditions in solo queue. But it is something that you may occasionally notice that you forgot that they changed when you go to actually use it. Now, Machinist, really big fan of these changes. So when you are overheated, you actually have a little bit of a movement speed buff. I'm a pretty big fan of that. Again, I still feel like Bioblaster is something I'd prefer to see them kind of look at and adjust, but maybe in point 2. And also another pretty big adjustment, Ether Mortar's potency was buffed by 50%, another 2,000 damage per pulse, and so was the barrier. That's pretty significant in terms of team fight power. I'm just curious if it's still going to be the... Machinist arguably was the best range physical job to solo queue climb before, but then they made a bunch of changes and it's been a little bit more even. I wonder if this kind of pushes it back up over the edge. Dancer getting some outright potency buffs to some of their main skills, and Saber Dance's damage bonus is being buffed by 5%. That's going to be very, very significant going forward, so really excited to see a few more Dancers popping up in the solo queue. Black Mage. So Black Mage actually getting hit with some nerfs, and for Super Flare, more of a change than a nerf. Well, we'll see how it actually pans out. So Burst is just having its potency brought back down to 12,000, so not too surprised. 16,000 is a big shield. As much as I really like that shield on Black Mage, it's a big shield, so I'm not too surprised. And then you have Super Flare. So Umbral Freeze's effect under Super Flare is actually being completely changed, where depending on the number of ice stacks that somebody has, it will change the effect of the Super Flare. 1 stack will be a heavy of Umbral Freeze, that is. 2 stacks of Bind and 3 stacks of Deep Freeze. I'm not going to lie. That heavy on the 1 stack, I know it's probably better than being deep frozen over and over again, but that's going to be really freaking annoying still. Being heavied is one of the most annoying things that can happen in PvP by far. So, curious to see how that ends up feeling. I'll probably be on the receiving end of quite a few of those this week. Summoner Fester's just getting buffed, its base potency and its maximum potency both being increased, 1,000 for base, 2,000 for max. And Astro getting hit with a pretty major nerf. Gravity 2's heavy effect only applies to a single target now, and the Gravity 2 double cast only applies the bind to the first target. So it'll still deal damage to anyone in range, but it's only going to heavy and bind one person. That's a significant nerf to Astro. In the recent PvP tournament that +1 hosted, Astro became very powerful and very, very common of a pick, not just because of the cards, but also because of Gravity 2, in all honesty. So this is definitely going to hurt them quite a bit, and you're probably going to be seeing a few less Astros than you used to. But they do still have other strengths. I just think that's a big one for them to be dialing back on. Now, Season 1 is ending. If you earned a reward based on your ranking, be sure to head to the Seasonal Quartermaster in the Wolves Den Pier. And tier rewards for Season 1 must be claimed before the end of Season 2. So you have until patch 6.2 to claim any of the rewards for your tiers. Now, there's no mention of any changes to the Season 2 rewards. I assume it will just be the plates again, but that the plates are going to have the number 2 on them instead of the number 1. Long term, I hope they come up with a better solution. I think people will eventually get bored of earning those. Some people won't. Some people really like PvP and will do it regardless. But reward structure is a big thing when it comes to incentivizing PvP. And I think that outside of the series, they need to make sure their seasonal rewards are still attractive as well. Now, in case you missed it, your ranking at the start of Season 2 will be 5 risers below where you ended with 0 rising stars. For example, if you ended in Crystal, you would be Diamond 5 with 0 rising stars. If you ended in, let's say, Plat 1, I think that means you go down to, what, Plat 2, 3, 4, Gold... How many ranks does Gold have? 4 also? So Gold 1, 2. So you'd go down to, like, Gold 2, if my memory serves. Yeah, I think that's right. I shouldn't do math at 6 in the morning. But that's the general gist of what's going to happen. Now, they've started to do some frontline changes for PvP. They said they were going to do more in patch 6.2, and they're reflecting that here as well. So they're going to be making sure the combat rank bonus for limit gauge has been adjusted as follows. Before, it just used to be the base amount. Then you would have it be a little faster if you were second rank, and then third rank, you would have 1.5 times faster. Now, right now, if you're in second place, that's the new baseline. If you're in first place, your limit gauges actually generate slower. And if you're in third place, they just generate a little bit faster. So essentially, this is the equivalent of having the catch-up mode on in any sort of racing game and just being in last place, be like, hey, I go faster now, I can catch up. Also, the damage modifiers have been changed. Melees and tanks take significantly less damage now. The Fizz range, Magic range, and healers all have a little bit less damage taken. And Summoner, Scholar, and White Mage all take... even they got a little bit of a buff, I suppose. Which is kind of surprising. I feel like if you're going to have minus 10% as your baseline, it doesn't might as well just make that 0 and adjust everything else around it. I guess it's just because they just said that would probably be the easiest fix. Because, like I said, they are doing more changes in 6.2, as well as to these damage modifiers. So it just might be something that they thought was a nice temporary change. And then this is just the last few things. New data center, Meteor for Japan, new worlds on Chaos and Light, data center travel, and an explanation of it. You have to do it from the character select screen, and instead of visit another world server, visit another data center. It will pull up which data center you can visit, and then you just have to confirm. It'll give you a time elapsed, and then you will be stuck in that queue for a while. Just remember, you are committing to that transfer once you start it, so you better be sure that it's the right thing to do. Time required for data center travel may vary depending on congestion. You only travel to other data centers in your home from your home data center. If you wish to travel to a data center from one you are currently visiting, you must first return home. This has got to do with the data transfer being something they're worried about. So you can't go, if your home world is Ether and you're visiting Primal, to go to Crystal, you have to go back to Ether and then back to Crystal. So a little bit of a tedious step, but I'm sure that's for data protection's sake. Traveler title as well. What's this? Oh, and then Traveler is for when you're actually visiting another data center, as opposed to Wanderer when you're visiting another server on your data center. Title will also be displayed in the friends list and in player searches under the company column. Certain features are unavailable, such as legendary and unspoiled nodes, your retainers, free companies, link shells, cross-world link shells. It is still possible to join a cross-world link shell when visiting, with a limit of 8 cross-world link shells per data center. Travelers cannot be promoted to master of cross-world link shells, and cross-world link shells in different data centers cannot be used to send or receive messages. Fellowships, housing, eternal bonding, gold saucer, all the things you'd expect you wouldn't be able to do on another server. Things that are kind of just gimmies, I suppose. Probably the most unfortunate one being unable to attend an eternal bonding session on another data center. You cannot be invited to a wedding that is on a totally different data center. You know, there are quite a few things here. No deep dungeon leaderboards, no PvP leaderboards. Can't use the Moogle delivery service. Teleporting. It's just restrictions on individual types of teleport items, like Friends Estates and Eternity Rings and stuff like that. And also, if you visit a newer preferred world, you don't just get the bonus all of a sudden. Now, there's only a few resolved issues here that need adjusting. An issue with contradictory dialogue appeared when speaking with Flamine and Mordona after completing Emiliance. Oh, well, I didn't know that there was new dialogue there, so that's interesting. Issue contradictory dialogue appeared during this. Oh, so contradictory. Okay, I know what this is. So this is two characters have the same name, I believe, is what that is. An issue where participating in frontline campaigns where players under the effect of White Mage Action Miracle of Nature were no longer affected by Oh, that's an important issue. Minor text issues, and there's a known issue wherein the number of cross-world link shells reverts to the order in which they were joined after using data center travel and returning to your home data center. That's nothing major, although I know cross-world link shell order is kind of an annoyance for some people. But anyway, that's it for patch 6.18's patch notes. I gotta eat breakfast real quick and get ready for my live stream. Hey, I stream every day from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. if you want to stop by. We're doing some Monsty Hunter today. Gonna hit some stuff with my hammer, and then all this week we got Final Fantasy XIV. Oh, and keep an eye out for a very special announcement, which should be coming a little bit later today. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you all in the next one. And until then, excuse me, right at the end, take care.